hurts, my neck hurts. But it was much more than that. But I didn't know. I just thought, you know. And then there were, when I came to church, like, different people were saying different things, like, and I remember hearing different things. Like, I remember Cynthia was saying to my parents, like, take her to the doctor, she needs to get her iron checked. And then Amelia was saying, told my husband, I overheard them talking, and she was saying, you should get her a CT done because she seems slow. And then Debbie was like crying to my sister, saying, something's wrong with Roseanne. I know something's wrong with her. And like different people were saying different things, and like it was really hard for me to process it because I've always been so healthy. Like I never would go to the doctor. I mean, only to get a medical form for work because I had to. I had to get a medical form for work, or I wouldn't even done that. But I had to do that, so I would get a medical form for work. But like that's why I went to the doctor. And I mean, so like for me, I just didn't I didn't know what was wrong. You know, like it was just so strange. It was all so strange, but you know, just being in good health all the time and not realizing. And then one night I was getting into bed and I got my right leg into bed and I couldn't get my left leg into bed. And I was with two hands like pulling my leg and I couldn't get my leg into bed. Like I just couldn't move my leg. And I don't even, to be honest, I don't even know how I eventually got, I guess I eventually got my leg into bed. I don't even know how, but I couldn't get my leg into bed, my left leg. And eventually it was like my left side was like a lot less strong than my right side. Like I didn't have a lot of strength on my left side, so I don't know, but that was definitely one like red flag. And then another thing that really I should have known when this happened, but I still just thought I was tired, and I literally was like driving home on Friday night from Bible study, and I was in the right-hand lane on the Belt Parkway, and when I opened my eyes, I was in the left-hand lane, like all the way in the left-hand lane, and I had no idea how I got there, and that happened twice that night on the way home. Like, when I think about it now, like, God was protecting me. I could have been killed, like, so easily. I mean, how do you go from, like, the right-hand lane all the way to the left-hand lane in the middle of the night? And, like, because by the time we left church, it was, like, 10 o'clock at night, and I just went across the whole Belt Parkway, and, like, not a scratch on me, and not a scratch on my car. That was God. I know that was God. Recently, different people have been filling in missing pieces for me because I have like gaps of memory loss of like just pieces missing, and I still get like memory loss even now. Like there's still like I'm still not back to myself. Like I still can feel like my mind sometimes is like it doesn't focus right, and I don't know if it's a medication or if it's scar tissue, and they don't know either. So I'm just praying that it's, you know, once the medication stops, like it'll go back to normal. But so I don't remember a lot of things, and like one friend of mine said I should count it as a gift to not remember all the gory details, and she's right. You know, it is a gift not to remember all those things because there's so many things that I don't want to remember that I wish I could forget. You know, so that's probably a good thing that I don't remember everything. Like I didn't remember I didn't actually completely remember when I was diagnosed in the ER. I remember them taking a CT scan, and I remember them saying they saw something and they wanted to do an MRI. But I don't remember them coming over to me and telling me like exactly what they saw. Like, and I remember months later, like I had asked my husband, I was like, how did I respond? Like when they told me I had a giant mass on my brain, how did I respond to that? Like, you would think you would remember something so devastating like that. Like, how do you not remember? Like, I can't even remember, like, responding to that. Like, months later, I was like, what did I say? Like, how did I respond to that? Did I cry? Like I couldn't remember, like, how I responded to that. And, like, still, like, I try to think of, like, how, like, this, like, gaps of memory loss, and I can't remember things. But I guess it's a good thing, you know? I mean, some stuff I'm like, I really like to know, like, what happened. I can't really remember everything, you know? But, so, this journey was and is by far the hardest thing I've ever faced. I went from a person who never went to the doctor, only to get a medical form, like I said, never took any kind of drugs at all, nothing. Never even smoked a cigarette in my life, never even tried it, never been drunk, never, nothing, like nothing. So, and then I wasn't even obese. Like, you know, I would think like, okay, so like, you know, people that are obese get these things. I would look things up, like, okay, people that are obese get this, people that smoke. They would always ask, like, do you smoke? Like, no, I've never even tried it. I've never even smoked a cigarette in my life. And like, so I would sit there and I would be like, you know, okay, sure, I could have lost a few pounds, like, and everybody, you know, that was like, you know, couldn't everybody lose a few pounds? Like, so but I wasn't obese, like, really big, you know, like, but still, like, I couldn't, you know, understand. And then I went from, like, never anything to, like, 9 months of chemotherapy, 9 months of like, invasive, like, testing and uncomfortable testing and just horrible things I don't want to remember, but, and 3 very painful spinal taps, those I remember. I wish I could forget those, but those I remember. And not being able to do most things by myself, like, that was a nightmare for me, because being like a pretty independent person my whole life, and to just, like, not even be able to get into bed myself, like, or, like, once I was in bed, I couldn't, like, move myself up. Like, I remember not being able to, like, push myself up in bed. Like, I had to have 2 people on the side of me and, like, pull me up. And that was, like, so hard. Just little basic things that you would normally take for granted that you could do. Like, I just couldn't do it, you know? It was just so hard, and just so depression really started to, like, get a hold of me. And I was just so depressed and so sad all the time, and I couldn't shake it, you know, no matter what I did. I just felt so, and I just lost sight of God. I hate to admit that, but I mean, I knew he was there, but I just lost sight. And I submerged myself into a victim's mentality that seeks only to undo pain. Things like, why me? I've never taken drugs. I kept saying stuff over and over, like, why me? Like, this is a mistake. Like, this isn't happening to me. This is gotta be happening to somebody else. Like, it was like a horrible nightmare. Like, how is this happening to me? My husband would tell you how I would ask every doctor that came in the room the same question, like, how did I get this? And I would over and over again, every doctor, I would say, how did I get this? And there was no answer. I mean, except for Julie, gosh, whatever, like, just, you know, bad luck or stupid stuff like that, or cells, or, you know, just, I don't remember the stupid answers they would give me, just, like, you know, there was no real answer. Like, nobody knew, like, why these things happen. But cancer is not a respecter of persons. It's just not. Children get it. People get it. Good people, bad people. Just doesn't respect people. Just, it goes to anybody. So, I just couldn't make sense of it, you know? And that's what I was trying to do. Make sense in my mind. Like, why can't I make sense of this? Like, it doesn't add up. Like, none of it added up in my mind. Like, I couldn't figure it out. And it just really took hold of me. And I couldn't shake the depression or the sadness, no matter how much I prayed or how long I read my Bible. And I would listen to healing scriptures throughout the night. But still, like, I just couldn't hear from God. And I would beg God, like, Why are you being silent, God? I can't hear your voice. I didn't understand why I couldn't hear him, but I couldn't see him or hear him. And I just want to hear him so badly, and I couldn't. I just couldn't hear him. I had to do some real soul searching because the pity parties were getting to be too much. The Y road is a very dangerous road to travel. It leaves you searching for answers that the finite mind just cannot comprehend, and only answers that can be revealed through trusting God. And I had to realize that, but it took a really long time because I couldn't see the big picture. All I could see was my pain and my life being ripped away from me. Like my life was being hijacked, and I couldn't stop it. And I had so many roommates and Maimonides that died. There was just so many people that were dying around me. I particularly remember this one roommate because she would scream through the night. I never slept in Maimonides. I never could sleep in that hospital. Like, you're just up all the time. But I remember this one lady, she would just scream through the night, and her daughter was staying with her. And I remember them giving her morphine one night because she would scream so loud and wake up everybody. And she was my roommate, of course. I would get all the screamers. But she would just, and then one night, I heard the daughter screaming. And she was just wailing and screaming and crying because her mother had passed throughout the night. And I remember the doctors all rushing in, and I just threw the covers over my head and just cried and prayed for the family because I could hear them screaming from the other side of the room. And of course, the thoughts of, am I next, kept entering my mind because so many people were dying around me. So of course, those thoughts kept coming and coming. But God is faithful. Even when we can't see it with our eyes, God is faithful. I would quote scriptures like Jeremiah 33:3, call unto me and I will answer thee and show thee great and mighty things thou knowest not. I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you. I would say these things all the time, over and over again, but I was still missing it. I wasn't getting it. And I couldn't see. And I would keep saying, why can't I see, God? Why can't I hear from you, God? What are you telling me? What are you telling me, God? I kept asking him to show me. But he was silent, and I couldn't hear him. And then I thought, and then the guilt always comes in, then I kept thinking, what did I do to deserve this? What did I do? God, what did I do to deserve this? I must have done something, and I would sit there in my mind and start to try to think over and over again, go over my mind, what did I do? What did I do to deserve this horrible punishment? And I thought, I'm not backslidden. If I was backslidden, I would say, okay, maybe I'm backslidden, but I wasn't backslidden. And then I remember in high school, we had a friend who was backslidden. We went to a small Christian school, and he had a brain tumor also. And I remember he died from his brain tumor. And I remember the pastor preaching a message. And there was a Bible verse that he used about God saving his soul, but taking his life. God took his life, but saved his soul. And I remember thinking, but that's not me. I'm not backslidden, so why why is this happening to me? You know, like, I'm saved since I'm 9 years old. I've been serving God since I was 11. And that was when my grandma Rosie was dying. I remember, like, being in my mother's room and kneeling down because my grandma was dying in the other room. And I was praying to God for him to save her. And I said, please, God, save my grandmother. I wanted him to save her so bad. And I remember I said, I will give my life to you, God, if you would just save my grandmother. And he chose to take her life, but he saved her soul. And I served God anyway from the age of 11. And I remember going to church every week, sometimes 3 times a week. I mean, I went to a Christian school, I went to Bible college. So all these things were in my mind, like, why me? Like, it didn't make sense, like, none of it made sense. And then I would read my Bible every day without fail since I'm a kid. I kept it right by my dresser. I never even got out of bed without reading the Word of God. Every day. I'd wake up, I'd grab the Word of God, and I would read it every single day. So from the outside looking in, I was doing pretty good. Probably better than most. I mean, to be honest, right? Like, read my Bible every day. Like, without fail. No Bible, no breakfast. That was the rule. You know, so it's like, you know, I just didn't get it. Like, it just didn't make any sense to me. And I would pray all the time for God to show me. So from the outside looking in, I was doing pretty good. But I always felt like I was missing something. So even though I felt I was doing pretty good, I felt I was missing something. And my friend Adrian can attest to this. For 20 years, Adrian, right, we would talk about this. For 20 years, I would tell him, there's something missing. I don't know what it is. I can feel like something is missing. Like I'm not getting it. Like I have blinders on, but I'm not seeing it clearly. And I would feel like I would pray about it all the time. I would ask God to show me what it was. And I still couldn't see it. And I would ask him to draw me closer and to feel his presence. I would pray that all the time. And you know, I always loved God. You know, so like for me, it was like, I didn't understand, like, because I always loved him. And I felt he always loved me. But can I be transparent with you guys? I mean, I would have doubts about a lot of things. You know, I mean, I didn't share them with most people, but I